for the next few sessions, we're going to get a little bit more tactical. We're going to talk about partnerships. We're going to talk about data, and Tiara here from the Partner League is going to show us some insights that she's uncovered on what partners are really looking for. And so she pulled some of you guys in kind of her group, the Partner League group, which, by the way, if you're not in this group, you should go sign up. It is it's paid, but it's extremely affordable and very, very high value, and just a great place to meet other partners, keep the conversation going. That being said, Dara, I will let you take it away, and I will just hide myself in the background here and help answer any questions from people. You're still on mute.
There we go. Can you guys hear me?
Perfect. Awesome. Looks
cool.
Good.
Hi, everybody. I'm not sure who all we've got here, but hopefully it's a good crowd. Yeah, so I'm Tiara from Partner League. I've also looking at things here today from the perspective of being a Shopify expert. So I've been an expert for 6 years, and I've had a lot of different experiences with partner programs, with a lot of different apps. And I sort of know when I'm working with a client, what goes into my sort of favorite app listing and why I pick the apps that I do. And then in talking with the partners, the app developers and stuff on Partner League, I sort of came to this impression that there's a bit of a misalignment between what partners feel or what app developers feel are important to experts and what experts feel are important to experts. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to shed some light on that and dig into it a little bit deeper and see if that's actually the case. So thanks, Derek, for the opportunity to present on that topic. I think it's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So basically, I'm going to just jump into the data here. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Perfect.
So we basically just did a 3-question survey, short and sweet and to the point. So I asked experts to initially which factors are most important when recommending an app to a client. So not specifically about partner programs, but just like what things are taken into account. Thankfully, the number one thing is features and functionality of the app. So, that's not surprising. Obviously, we can't recommend a kettle if somebody, really needs a frying pan. So, so features and functionality are most important, which makes sense. App reviews coming in second, which again, not particularly surprising. I find when I recommend an app that doesn't have that many reviews yet, merchants are always a little bit hesitant. They're like, oh, it's only got 3 positive reviews. I could tell them, this is an amazing app, and often they will take my word for it. But they are definitely reassured when they see a large number of positive reviews on the App Store. And then app pricing and app support are kind of tied for the 3rd spot there. So I would say for me personally, app support is a big one. If an app has really good support, it makes my job a lot easier as an expert. If there's a bit of a glitch and it's like a Friday night, knowing that I can get somebody to help is pretty amazing. And there's not going to be like a 1-week delay or something like that. And then prior experience with the app comes in there as well. And then actually, least important to experts is a partner program. So, that's not super thrilling when I'm here to talk about partner programs and so on, but I think it is insightful and it's important data for app developers to see. Partner programs are good, but it's one piece, it's one cog in the wheel of everything else, right? And so I think that's some interesting data. And just to give you guys a bit of insight as to where this information is coming from, I posted the survey link within Partner League, and Partner League has a pretty good cross-section of experts. There's some freelancers as well as there's some agencies in there. And I also posted it, I'm an expert with StoreTasker, so I posted it in the Slack community there as well. And this data is compiled. We had about 24 responses by this morning, so I refreshed these charts. So we've got about 25 expert opinions here. I'm actually going to try to get more input on that, and I can share updated results at some point if people are interested as I get more data in there. But we've got a good cross-section of both experts, agencies, and freelancers represented. And so then digging in specifically into partner programs, I asked both app developers and experts to rank the following components in terms of importance. So implementation support, how important is that in a partner program? And then the kickbacks, the percentage and the duration. How long does the kickback last for? Easily accessible tools and information to help you sell the app. This is something that Recart does really, really well. They've got all kinds of resources I can use as an expert to basically sell merchants on the idea of a backup app, because sometimes it's not that intuitive for them. They think that nothing's ever going to go wrong. So why would they need backups? And then partner training on app setup and usage. So how key is that in their decision on a partner program? And then the ease of submitting referrals. So it seems like every app who does have a partner program, they use a slightly different system. So is it as simple as click this link and I get a referral credit, or is it something a bit more complicated? How easy is that? So we asked both app developers and experts this question. So initially what we had app developers say is they believe that the kickback percentage is most important. So we had about 24 app developers respond. So yeah, this is a pretty clear picture. Kickback percentage, they believe experts would see as most important, followed by kickback duration. Easily accessible materials to help sell, implementation support, and then ease of submitting referrals, bringing up the bottom. So this is an app developer's perspective on what experts might think. And then we have technical difficulties. And then we have the actual expert opinion. So this chart looks really different, which sort of confirms my hunch based on the conversations I've been having with people. So basically, tied for top spot is implementation support and ease of submitting referrals. So that's what experts feel are most important when they consider the quality of a partner program. We want to know that it's, again, if something goes wrong, we've got your backup and that you guys can make us look good to our clients. Basically, that's number one. Also, it being really, really easy to submit a referral is a nice asset as well. We don't want it to be a whole bunch of extra steps. And then partner kickbacks come in after that. The percentage is slightly more important to us than the duration, like how long it lasts for. I think generally we feel that a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So the fact that it's lifetime over 1 year is, we'd rather see a higher amount. And then lastly, bringing up the rear partner training and easily accessible materials to help us sell. So that's, I think, an interesting disparity between the app developer opinion and the expert opinion. So, I think that that's really key information as more and more app developers are looking at developing partner programs, to just really think about your audience and who you're trying to target with your partner program, and make sure that the components that you plug in there are the things that people actually want to see. So implementation support, making it easy to submit referrals. I know some of those affiliate systems aren't the cheapest, so things that make it really easy to just have an affiliate link. And yet, based on this survey data, having a really easy to use system like that would be preferable versus a manual process of submitting those referrals. And then the kickback's actually slightly less important than what an app developer might think it is. So what do you think about that data, Derek? Does that kind of confirm your hunches as well?
Yeah, I think it's interesting how I think every partner program offers some sort of kickback, and that also tends to be where the conversations start in some ways. It's like, well, here's how much you're going to get. And it's like, well, like at the end of the day, I think, maybe there's value in paying out money and using a financial incentive. But if we need to feel confident in making that this is going to make the merchant more money, and that like the implementation, the ability to make the merchant more money is where we're going to win first. And if we know that's the case, then we can be confident in providing that option and recommending that tool. And then from the back of that, it's like, okay, now that we've provided the value to the merchant, I feel comfortable getting my kickback or something along those lines.
Yeah, absolutely. Like knowing I'm getting a 10% kickback isn't reassuring to me if I'm really struggling to get the ship off the ground, right? And really get it launched and get that merchant happy. The satisfaction of my merchant relationship is worth a lot more than the referral kickback. So for sure, knowing that an app has got my back and is going to help me make it successful is pretty instrumental. What I'm
the ironic thing there. Oh, go ahead.
What I'm loving about being in Partner League is, that quite a few of the app developers are willing to help me out, like right there in Partner League when I'm having trouble with a client, or not even trouble necessarily, but just like really trying to optimize the installation of an app and really get it launched. As they're willing to help me out right there in Slack, like in Partner League. I can just ping them and I'm really stuck here. Do you have any ideas? And they'll get me support right there in Slack. And it's like that quality of support, they don't say, well, here's the contact info for our help desk. Like sometimes they're willing to connect me right there in Slack and get me the support that I need. And you can bet that that's an app I'm going to recommend over and over again when I have that quality of experience, right?
I love it. And it's interesting that, materials to help sell, to me, I actually need that a lot more than a lot of other people. Sometimes it's a case study. Sometimes it's not even something you have to have. It's something that you just reference, meaning like the only material you really need is a quote that you can just pull out of the air and say, well, they like guarantee an 800% ROI and they have hundreds of customers. So they must, if they're guaranteeing that for hundreds of customers, they're all making 800% ROI. That's just like one example. Or you might say something like, well, they did a case study with this company and it got them this amount of revenue and they're very similar to your brand. And that helps in that way of selling. So, and I think that that's one thing that, especially early stage app providers or smaller teams are often missing, is that case study that enables the sell. And in some ways it kind of also falls back into implementation, because it might show the steps that they took in order to make, more revenue. Typically, for marketing tech tools, it's always going to come back to more revenue. Not always, but most of the tools end up being about revenue, right?
Yeah.
And so that's it's very interesting. One thing that's missing here, and I'm planning on going into this in just a few sessions, is partners as opposed to experts. They might not want kickbacks, but what they want is referral exchanges. And they don't want money, but as a partner manager inside of a company, you often can't take money from other partners, and then your parent company is taking the money, right? And that doesn't mean anything to you, and the parent company doesn't even care about that money because they want just recurring subscription revenue from their business, right? So I think in that case, what they really want is a new lead. And I think it's important that especially if you're tech partner to tech partner and you've gotten a referral, how can you send a referral back to that tech partner? And then I'll get into it on the flip side of that is, how can I send a lead first to get a lead? Because it turns out that the more leads you send over to somebody, the more likely they are to send one back.
Yeah. I've got a couple little kids, and of course, there's that the more we get together, the happier we'll be song. And I'm like, this is just like the Shopify ecosystem in a nursery rhyme, basically. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely about lead sharing and so on. I'd also be interested, if we could go back in time and sort of do a survey like this pre-COVID, if the results of this survey would be different. I know back in the day when things were a little bit slower, I definitely tried to drum up business by suggesting apps. And so, yeah, materials to help sell an app. You know, if I was trying to do a month where I wanted to get a bunch of businesses set up on VIP programs, for example, materials to help sell that concept with those statistics of ROI and so on would have been a lot more important to me versus, you know, ever since COVID, I know myself and a lot of other experts, like we just can't keep up with the volume of work that's coming in as everybody's trying to get online and sell online, and the competition is just going up. So also positioning themselves, even if they've been online for a while. So this concept of trying to sell an app installation is less important to me now than what it would have been, say, 6 months ago. And now, again, as I'm struggling to manage workload and stuff, that implementation support has just risen even more in terms of importance. So,
yeah. And on the ease of submitting referrals, what's your favorite way to refer a client over to a tool?
I really like it when there's just a link. And I also kind of like it if that link isn't particularly obvious. You know, sometimes it's like this really obvious affiliate link that's quite lengthy. You know, the other thing that makes me more inclined to submit a referral too is if there's something in it for my merchant to use my affiliate link. So for example, discount. Yeah, like if I can submit a link and they get, you know, an extra month free or something, and I get a commission, you know, I'll just plaster that link everywhere because I know that there's something in it for them as well. Versus if it's like basically just something for me, and I'm like, please use my link. Yeah.
This is the difference between a single referral and double referral program, which I've studied extensively in B2C. I launched a double referral program that was very successful for a beauty brand a long time ago. But I think it's also more important here because it really, like you said, you can shout it from the rooftops and not feel guilty because you're providing value in that way. And yeah, and I with over 140 partners, the link is important and we want to be able to track that. And we're about to talk with Michael about that and what Everflow does in that way and other tools, of course, that operate on link tracking. But I also believe strongly in the dedicated landing page. I think this is really valuable if you can create a landing page template for your partner and then you just duplicate it, you know, change the URL slug and then change the partner logo. And you can just do that over and over. You don't have to have it rank on your site. You can hide it from search engines. And it can just be that one page that they're able to send traffic to. Really easy to track a sign-up process from that single page. Of course, you can track it with link tracking as well, but you can kind of create that custom offer for that custom page, send the person to it. Other than that, my favorite way for mid-market and larger tools is definitely a direct intro into the right team member. And I'm guilty of this on my end of not making sure I'm introing to the right team member. And what I mean is like, so I intro into my partner manager and then they bring in the sales manager and then the sales manager is actually this person's who you want to talk to. And it's like 3 conversations later, we're finally getting a demo booked or something along those lines. So making sure that component of it is clear. And I have done so many partnership calls and I finally, it dawned on me that I needed a partnership deck that was a lot more concise than just having a conversation. And I think for all partners and partner managers out there, a way to formalize the 30-minute conversation you have with another app or agency partner and show them, okay, here are the 3 steps we're going to take and here are the next steps we're going to have. We'll get you that page up on our site. You get us your page up on the site. We'll create a special offer for you and we'll include you in this email blast and this app listing and this, you know, so having something very concrete on the next steps. And obviously not every partner meeting ends in like, let's say success. Sometimes it's like, oh, let's talk at a later time. But I think it's really important to have those components in there. I think it drives a lot of value, makes things a lot easier. So that's my rant on that.
You know, and the last thing I want to kind of wrap up with is just the importance of getting feedback. So as you're designing your partner program or even as you're just working on improving your app and growing your app is like get feedback from experts. It's actually really rare that I have an app developer ask me what I think of their app. But when they do ask, I'm perfectly happy to tell them. And so I just really encourage everybody to contact some experts, you know, get in touch with some freelancers, get in touch with a couple of agencies and ask for feedback on your app. Do you recommend it? If not, why not? What's your experience been like with our partner program and so on, and collect some feedback on that. It's really, really invaluable. I think it was Recart, you know, their affiliate link, instead of it having recart.com in it, their affiliate link was Ghost Monitor or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had the experience of a large number of merchants being like, Ghost Monitor, like, is this a safe link to click on? They felt really hesitant about it. And so Recart asked me how things were going. And I said, actually, like, people don't want to click on my referral link. And they're like, oh my goodness, this is, you know, that makes sense, right? You know, I'm telling them it's a link for Recart, but we're all trained now to be hesitant of links that don't look quite as they should. So, you know, get feedback on your partner programs, get feedback on your app store listings. You know, just make sure that happens. I know oftentimes too, an app store listing, it doesn't give a good representation of what the app is really doing. You know, maybe it's the perspective of the app developer versus the perspective of the merchant or the expert, you know, so get feedback on all of that stuff. And I think that you'd be surprised as to how it can help grow your business.
I love it. And that's a quick plug for my business, where we do the third-party reviews of those apps. Obviously, the app listing is very valuable, and we're going to hear more about App Store optimization. But to me, you can't. I want the merchant to have that agnostic viewpoint, that not controlled by the by the provider. And, you know, obviously with a lot of like even outside of Shopify app ecosystem, G2 Card, Capterra, you are able to update and manage your listing. And I want a place where you cannot manage your listing. I manage your listing. And we create that content independently so that we can give an honest review. And we do always try to give a positive review, but we ensure that it is truly honest. So if you have a limited feature, you say they have a smaller feature set than others. You know, we don't, and if you don't work well for enterprise brands, we say they don't work well for enterprise brands yet, or something along those lines. People don't like to say those things, but and we try and say them agnostically. And on the link front, I want to give everybody a quick growth hack, perhaps. I use rebrandly.com to create a branded URL shortener. So this link for Partner League that, you know, is ecomtech.link/partner league. Like every partner that we have is ecomtech.link/ the name of the company. And that is an easy way to keep the links branded. Everyone can memorize it. Literally just like pick a popular Shopify app and type in ecomtech.link/, you know, SMS Bump, Klaviyo, Gorgeous, you know, StoreTasker, Everflow. The list is going to go on. It links to the same place. So you just know where to go. It's also great if we have ecomtech.link/podcast for our podcast, and all of these things. You can just hide that in this URL shortener. It costs like $10 a year and for the domain, something like that. And then maybe $29 a month, maybe even free for a lot of people. Yeah, maybe even free, and just the cost of the domain. So that's a good little hack to do.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of that tool before, but I could see myself using that for sure for as I submit my referral links to merchants, just to sort of wrap it in under my own domain. That's a great tip.
Yeah, and it's just like a Bitly, except it's for your own domain, and Bitly is like a enterprise tool. Speaking of, you know, market transparency, Bitly is either a free tool or a giant enterprise tool. Rebrandly comes in on the lower end and literally just focuses on making it easy to wrap up your partner links into shorter links, and also social links. And when you want to add UTM parameters, things, you hide them in there.
Yeah, you get to put it all in nice packaging, eh?
Yeah. So I'm that kind of nerd. So that's my growth hack tip of the day. All right. So Tiara, about Partner League, tell us what we need to know, and I've already shared the link here on how to sign up.
Cool. Yeah, Partner League is where it's at to form partnerships with people. There's so much. You know, there's our public channels. You know, there's one specifically for experts, one for app developers. We're also doing AMAs a couple of months now, where we pick an app or an expert that's doing really, really well, blowing the doors off, and you have the opportunity to ask whatever questions you want, and we get to learn from them. So
who's next up on the AMA?
Yeah, we've got an AMA open right now with Luke's. So Luke's is approaching their 100,000 active installations milestone.
Wow.
So like there's stuff to learn from these guys. So if you're an app developer and you're newer on the scene and like that's your dream is to get to that point, Partner League has an AMA open right now with Luke's, and you get to ask them whatever questions you want so you can learn from their experiences, right? And so those are sort of the things that you see at the surface of Partner League. I get a report from Partner League Slack every week that shows me just the stats on what's going on behind the scenes. So, I see the number of direct messages that are happening. I don't have visibility to the contents of those, but basically, every week, the level of activity in Partner League is growing by about 10% behind the scenes. So like stuff is going on. I wish I could be a fly on the wall in these conversations, but people are talking. And I hear a lot anecdotally after the fact that, these co-marketing things are happening where, I'm sending you a referral and then they're sending me a referral back. All of that kind of stuff is happening. And it's just a really awesome collaborative place to be. And I've got stuff planned for the future. Partner League is a paid membership. And some of that money each month is getting saved in a fund for, someday post coronavirus, we can all get together and have an awesome party somewhere.
Yes.
That kind of thing. So, there's great stuff that's going to happen in the future, and great stuff happening today too.
Awesome. I love it. And I look forward to supporting that as well when we can meet again in real life. And I am definitely doing those behind the scenes messages. It starts with a question in maybe a public chat or even an introduction. And then it turns into, hey, what are you up to? Hey, or is this a good fit? Is it a good time to talk? Do we have, merchant alignment or something like that? Or I know a guy that can do that, or here, let me intro you to this person. It just, the list of things goes on from there.
Yeah, it's so funny in the email that I get from Slack, it says in there, no, we cannot share the content of these messages. Like they must get asked all the time, right? Like what's going on in there? So they just have it in a big, no, we cannot share. But like, oh man. So yeah, there's cool stuff going on. And I carefully screen submissions. So people who want to join, I make sure that they want to join for the right reasons, for collaboration, not for spam or something like that. So our focus is always quality over quantity.
Yeah. And everybody in this group is it's all the people you would expect in the ecosystem.
Cool.
So it's great. Awesome. We're going to move into our next session. Thank you so much.